Welcome to the Marriage Show. This is Butch and Julieann Hartman, and today's episode is I don't feel like I'm first in your life.
Yeah, and I don't even feel like I'm first in this introduction because I'm waiting here to talk. So we'll check it out on today's Marriage Show.
Welcome to The Marriage Show with Butch and Julieann Hartman, a series focused on helping couples thrive in their walk with Christ. Known for their award-winning kids shows and their healing ministry that impacts lives around the world, Butch and Julieann's success in both Hollywood and in their home life comes after decades of learning the biblical truths that they will be sharing with you today. And now, your hosts, Butch and Julieann Hartman.
Okay, today in the Marriage Show, we're talking about I don't think I'm first in your life. I don't feel like I'm first. But you know what's first on our show today is our trivia with our band leader, Mr. Colton Russell. Colton.
It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. I just want you to know what a blessing all of you guys are. We can't do this without you, and I know that our viewers love you too. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's good to be appreciated. Thank you.
I think they actually sleep here. They never leave.
They do.
They're always sleeping over there. So
We never leave.
I
No.
know we never leave you or forsake you. I know.
So what do you got for trivia today?
This is the Marriage Show, and this is trivia. It's best 2 out of 3, and
Okay.
the loser has to wash the winner's car.
And
Okay.
detail. I'm
detail.
asking
And
for detail.
detail.
Yes.
Okay,
so
fine. I have a
get
bigger
ready.
car than him, so
It's a 2-for-1 package.
That's why I better win.
yes.
All right then. Trivia question number 1.
Yes.
Which popular game featured players removing plastic bones from a patient without setting off a buzzer?
Very
Uh,
easy. That's Operation with the little metal tweezers. You pull the little.
Yes,
It was kind of a
whatever.
morbid game. You'd pull little body parts out of a
Yeah,
little
his nose
man
would
on
light
a,
up.
But
and
you always
his
get
nose
yeah.
so anxious, like,
Yeah.
You're trying to pull them out.
And you had to download nothing. Imagine that back then. They didn't have to download an app or
That's
anything.
so true. Just I think you need batteries.
That's all you needed.
But
was
you'd
that.
always lose the bones.
That is
You
true
go to
too.
play, and there's like 2 left.
Oh
You're
yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah,
oh my
exactly.
God, you've played.
You get one good game of
Oh, I know.
Operation, and that's all you did. Then
You
your dog
played.
would eat part of the.
That's
you know.
what sent me to my undergraduate career.
Okay.
Wow. That's interesting. Okay, it's 1-0. I'm winning, and I want everyone to know that. Here we go.
Trivia question number 2. What is the body's largest muscle?
Your brain.
The brain uses the most energy.
Okay.
Let me think. I don't know,
using
the
it right-
latissimus dorsi, the back muscle.
You're using it right now. It's your gluteus maximus.
And we're sitting on it.
My gluteus.
I can't
maximus.
believe it.
Well, I'm sitting on mine. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so
you know what? I work mine out a lot in the gym.
that's right.
Yeah. All right. What's number 3? Because I
Guys
got to
been
get
working
this
on
one.
I am
glutes off on
winning
this show.
so far.
I got to win this
Get the
one.
turtle wax
Okay.
out.
All right, it's time. Trivia question number 3. What show won the Emmys for the best comedy series for the 1978 season?
Oh, Mary Tyler Moore.
Taxi.
It's Taxi.
I didn't know that was
I
the
used to
show.
I love that
I
show.
love Taxi.
I don't love that you won.
I did.
Ironically, it's about Taxi, which is about cars, and I've got to wash a car now. Thanks
and
a lot.
detail it.
Thanks a lot, brain, that I
Yes.
didn't use. It's not the largest organ in the brain and in the body. Anyway. Okay, our topic for today is something, well, honestly, it's something I've heard a lot throughout our marriage, and I think a lot of other married people have heard it too. It is, I don't feel like I'm first in your life. So I'm not saying, you said it a lot, but I have
No.
heard that a little bit. I don't feel like I'm first in your life. And quite honestly, I think I've said it a couple times to you too.
Oh, absolutely. You
Yeah, I
said
think
that
I've
to
said.
me.
So if you're married out there, which I'm sure a lot of you are, have you ever heard that phrase, I don't feel like I'm first in your life? What do
Yeah.
you think?
Well, I think that for us, I mean, this is not like a bad thing, but Butch loves to draw, and so he draws all the
I'm
time.
not drawing right now.
Okay,
I'm
which-
completely not even drawing anything
Which
right
I'm
now.
shocked because you usually are. And so, but he loves to do it and he escapes that way. And I always would think like, gosh, what would it be like to escape into just like whatever scene or whatever character you're drawing? And it's really cool. But yes, there are times where I've said like, hello, am I first? Like, what's going on? And I think what happens in, just with anybody, like we do a lot of things and we love doing them. And sometimes we do them too much. And then it becomes first in our life. And so what are ways that we can actually combat that and say, okay, because I would hate to have my spouse, and he has said to me many times, but I hate to hear him say to me like, look, I'm not first in your life. I think your schedule is first in your life. And that really does, even though it's happening and he's right and it's true, I feel bad about it.
Well, when we first got married, when we were first dating, you really weren't into, let's just say, what you're into now, which was fitness. You were working out, but you weren't like into the fitness as much as you were. But once we got married, for some reason, your fitness interest really took hold.
Well,
And
okay.
and you began to, let's just say, work out and do a lot of things like
Okay,
that in that
yes.
area at the beginning of our marriage.
Well, yes and no, because I was working out all crazy hours of the night way before I met
I
you.
just didn't know it, I
Well,
guess.
but what happened was when I started doing martial arts
Hmm.
and working out, that's when my schedule really changed. And so, yes.
So there would be
So,
times where I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and she was gone because she was heading to the gym.
right.
And
Because I
then
was teaching a boxing class.
so be standing in the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then wouldn't come home until like 11 o'clock at night, having worked out all day.
Well, because no, I worked all day, then went and worked out, then did my, a karate class, and it kind of went late. And so, yes, absolutely, was my schedule interfering in our marriage? Yes, it was.
Yeah, there really was no marriage because it was just your schedule. I just happened to be home when you got there. But yeah, we were very young. We just started our marriage, and we were both sort of survivors, meaning we both came out of really chaotic situations in our home life as kids. And so, I did things my way, she did things her way. And so when you don't feel like you're first in your spouse's life, what do? I know. Let's start yelling at our spouse and pointing fingers and making the spouse feel less than. I mean, you can do that, of course, but what's a way we can work together to prioritize
Well,
time with each other and maybe enhance our togetherness?
yeah, but don't have them yell at their wives.
I didn't say that. I said, no, that's one way.
You
but
said you could do that. No, don't do
well,
that.
you could do that. No, we are not encouraging that here
No,
on the Marriage
not
Show.
at all.
No, it's called the Marriage Show for a reason because we want you to stay married. But yeah, I mean, we two are stronger than one. That's look, Jesus modeled the perfect marriage. He's the perfect husband. He's the perfect spouse. He's the perfect groom. It's called the marriage supper of the Lamb when we enter in a covenant with Him because He's modeling marriage for us. And why is that? Because He gave His life for this relationship. And we're to give our lives, we're to die to ourselves for this relationship. So that means dying to your schedule so the marriage can live, dying to all the drawing I do so the marriage can live. Whatever it's supposed to be, we need to die to that so that the relationship can flourish.
Yeah. And that it doesn't necessarily have to just be like me working out, but it's also doing stuff with the church. And that's great because churches need help. We're pastors, we know we need help. But when people are putting that in front of their marriage, that's not good. Nothing should be put in front of their marriage, even because what you'll say is you'll go, oh, but this is a good thing. Yeah, it might be good for others, but it's not good for your marriage right now.
You mean volunteering at the church?
Yeah, volunteering, taking on, because we know that, churches tend to give people a lot of different duties, right? So that means that, we need you here at this time, and then you need to stay all the way through and all night because we need you to break it down or whatever it might be, right? And taking on many, many jobs in your position of being maybe just even a volunteer. And so, but we think a lot of times like, oh, this is all for God, it's good. And it's like, yes, it is for God and it is good, but God never wants your marriage to suffer because of that. And so that's why, again, it's always going to come down to communication. Like you have to communicate with your spouse. You've got to talk about these things. And if one of you is feeling left out, is feeling like, like what you did when we first got married, you're like, wow, did you even want to get married? Because we got married and then you continued on your schedule and I don't see you at night till like 11 o'clock at night. And that's not what I thought marriage was going to be.
It's a funny story about that time. We lived in an apartment building where we had 2 parking spaces and they were in front and back of each other. So whoever got home first would pull into the front space and the one who would pull in last would be in the last space. Well, I always got home first, so I'd pull into that front space. She'd pull in at the end. But there came a time where my trunk of my car wouldn't close.
Oh my gosh.
I remember I couldn't close the trunk of my car because she would pull in so fast. She would bump the
What does
back
this
of my
have to
car.
do with, I don't feel like
but I remember that story because I couldn't close the back of my car. I'm like, boy, this is really symbolic. The trunk won't close of my car. Nothing's closing because you're pulling in so quick and you're hitting the back of my car. And it's just like, if you just get home earlier, my car wouldn't be destroyed. So I just remember that. It's a funny thing I just thought of just now.
Well, I was pulling
and
in fast.
I've got the yes button here because I still want to stay married to you.
Well, yes.
Yes, I'm still
Oh,
married. There
thank
you
you
go.
so
I'm going to
much.
agree on that. So even though
Well,
my trunk got
I
destroyed.
don't do that anymore.
No,
But
no.
yes,
Hit the
I
no.
was.
No, she doesn't do that
Yeah,
anymore.
here.
That was a simple one.
That's
Yeah.
it. No,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. So yes, the reason why I would hit your trunk, not by, I did not like deliberately do that.
Oh, I know it wasn't
But I
deliberate.
was pulling in fast because I knew that, like, oh my God, the class went so late. I got to be home. And so yes, so I would sometimes I wouldn't
So I had to
stop
tie my
fast
trunk
enough.
shut with a rope. I had to use a rope
This
and
is
tie it shut.
terrible. I
Yeah.
know this
It
is
was,
terrible.
remember that.
So when someone doesn't feel like they're first in their life, like what can you do? What are some steps you can take? Well, first of all, you got to communicate. You got to talk about it. And also, I mean, maybe you can come to a decision of, all right, so maybe one of you might be a little bit more sensitive than the other, to that time. But again, you won't know until you actually talk about it.
Right, exactly. And I want to bring all this back, if we can, to the Word of God, because it all comes back to ourself. When we're thinking about ourself all the time, that's where these things can occur. It's about you doing this and you doing that, and none of us are doing anything together, right? Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek first your own schedule." No. Seek first everything you want to do and forget everybody else. No, it says, seek first the kingdom of God. We seek the kingdom of God first. How do we seek the kingdom of God first? We seek Jesus first. Seek Jesus, and by seeking him, if he's your Lord and Savior, let's talk about that phrase. Your Lord, meaning he tells you what to do, you answer to him, and your Savior. He's the one who died for you and makes sure that salvation has come into your life. So if he's died for you and he's the one you answer to, that's who you should answer to first. So ask Jesus, hey, Jesus, should I go play golf today again, or spend the weekend with my wife? Well, I only golf for 10 hours. Oh, only 10 hours from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. Well, what is your wife doing during all that time?
Waiting for the husband to come home.
Or maybe she's not waiting anymore. Maybe she's tired of waiting.
Yeah.
And maybe she wants to go do things with other people. I don't know. Or maybe the wife has something she's doing for 9 or 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Again, once in a while, guys, we're saying it's fine. But it can't become a habit where if your spouse is feeling neglected, and number one, if they've told you about it, you have something to address. And if your marriage means anything to you, you will address that.
Absolutely. We counsel a lot of couples, and a lot of times we do hear that, and it's not just like the man thing. I feel like sometimes it sounds like that, but it's not.
Well, all I know is a woman destroyed the trunk of my car. That's all I'm
right.
saying.
Well, no,
All
women
I'm
can do
saying
this
right
too,
here.
but it's like they want to get, like they want to do that golf, that day of golf, that time at the gym, and but that's on their day off, and you're like, but but aren't you supposed to be with the family? Like if you only get 2 days off, don't you want to spend those 2 days with your family? Because you know what? Here's something that's really important. You're never going to get those days back with your kids.
No, they never come back.
Do you realize that? Like,
no.
Even though it's like you have tomorrow, you've got the next day, but the child is going to get older. And I swear that's something that I just kept in my mind all the time. I'm never getting this time back. I'm going to cherish every moment. And I really did try to keep that in the forefront of my mind so that I would not just, let, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days go by without even just really like savoring that moment, especially when your kids are just getting so big. And our granddaughter already now is 4 months. And I'm like, but she just was an infant, a few weeks ago. And so I guess look at your priorities, because for me, being older, not old, I can't believe I just said that.
I didn't say that at all.
No.
I'm just over here drinking
For us being older, we're looking at more of the helicopter view of what it looks like. And I know one thing that I said to the Lord many years ago. I said, I don't want to live in regret, because I saw people, I'm a people watcher, and I would see people walking around and just in their faces were just so like worn and miserable. And you just like at 80, 90, 100 years old.
You could just sense the regret in their life.
Yeah, you just wonder, like, what is it? And then many years ago, way before we had kids, I loved talking to like people in nursing homes and asking them, like, what are the things that you are so happy you did, and what are the things that you maybe weren't so happy? And they all talked about regret, like all of them. And so I was like, I refuse to regret. So when I do things, I ask the Lord, like, am I going to regret this later? That might be that activity, that thing that I want to do, but it's taken away from my family. Am I going to regret this? Because it's going to wear on my face. It's going to show on my face as I get older. And I refuse to do that. I want peace, love, and joy to show on my face, not regret. Things I
Yeah.
could have taken care of when I was younger.
And the hardest thing is when your phone sends you those little Google memories of, hey, this was 5 years ago, and it shows you your family and your kids or whatever. I'm so grateful that we were intentional about spending so much
Yeah.
time with our kids as they grew up and with each other, because we have a lot of great memories. And fortunately, I know that in my family, there were a lot of regrets. And I was just like you. We were exactly the same as we grew in our marriage. We didn't want to have regrets. We were very intentional about the time spent with our family, with our kids. There's not one moment I regret of not, but we spent as much time as we could. Yeah, we had some things we had to do on occasion where we couldn't spend all the time. But when those little phone memories come up and I see those times with the family, I'm glad that I'm in those pictures with them. And I'm glad, even if I'm not in the picture, I'm glad that I remember when the picture was taken. I don't have any gaps where I wasn't around for years, trying to make a living and all that. I understand those things are important. We all do that. I get it. But we're just trying to encourage you to remember those times so that you won't have regrets as you move on in your life. And we're not going to regret this time because we have to end our segment right now.
Yes, I regret to end the sentence.
We do regret to end the segment, but we'll be back in our second half as we talk more about, am I first in your life? Am I getting
You are
better?
first in my life.
You're first in my life too.
Yeah. There's
And-
Jesus, and then there's Butch.
Yep, and we'll talk about the trunk thing later. We'll see you in a second.
You're watching The Marriage Show with Butch and Julieann Hartman. If you have any questions about marriage, children, or finding your life partner, contact us today at themarriageshow.com.
Welcome to Marriage Matters, a place where couples from all over the world can share helpful tips and practical advice they've learned throughout the many different seasons of marriage.
Hi, I'm Mark Matchin,
And I'm Jennifer.
and we are the founders of Forever Free and also pastor at Life of Faith Church in Birmingham, Alabama. And I want to talk a little bit about marriage, but communication in marriage. This is
It's a big one.
I was about to say, this is a big
This
one.
is a big one.
And it's one of the issues really that creates so many problems in marriage. One, if there's no communication, that's definitely a problem.
Oh, big time.
But two, you may be communicating in two different places in two different ways. And so it's not a lack of communication. It is miscommunication and misunderstanding. And we certainly had our fair share of that
Oh, yeah.
over the years. The other piece in communication, and then we'll kind of hit some highlights of what we can do, is attitude.
That would have been me.
What? You've had a bad
I had a
attitude?
lot of bad attitude.
Well, James chapter 1, yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
And I might have had some too. Actually, I usually was just quiet.
Yeah, you were the quiet one. I was the very vocal one.
So James chapter 1 tells us, it says, be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger.
And I didn't do any of them.
Yeah,
Thank God I found the grace of God.
the grace of God. But you know what we've learned? Thank God for freedom. Thank God for the grace of God.
yes.
When you discover your identity in Christ, the Bible says we're complete in Him. But actually, it says in 2 Peter 1:4 that you are partakers. We are partakers, or we share in God's nature. And the way He loves, the way He forgives, but the way He communicates and the attitude in which He does it, it's actually now
It's
in
in
us.
me. It's in me. That's right.
And so just a couple of quick tips on communication is first of all, communicate.
You do have to talk.
Which
Talking
means,
is involved.
Which means women shouldn't give their husbands the what?
Silent treatment. It's a no-go.
That doesn't actually help,
No, it doesn't.
but it makes you feel good.
Oh, yes.
So,
It satisfies the flesh.
no, actually, talk to each other.
Yes.
When you first started going
Wait
out-
a minute. There's a difference. You talk to each other, not at each other.
Exactly. Because when we first started dating, we spent a lot of time talking
Talk to you. That's
to
right.
each other. And so continue that. And look, and that means if you feel a certain way, if there's a difficult thing, something that the other person did, talk it out,
Yeah.
not from a defensive posture. If I said, Jennifer, I got to tell you something that that you did to me, immediately she might want to be defensive, but if you understand love and respect and honor for each other, then you can actually have that discussion without being defensive.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And then
True.
attitude. What about attitude?
Just don't. Just don't have it.
I told Jennifer one time, I said, because there was something I didn't do, which happens more often than it should. And so she kind of pointed
You
it out.
communicated that well.
I communicate. Look at that.
Look at that.
And so your attitude, but the attitude with which you let me know was a little bit of a smart aleck, snippety attitude.
Unkind. Very
It was unkind.
Yeah.
And I just told her straight up, I said, look, you're right, but your attitude makes me not want to do anything for you.
I can guarantee you in human history,
Yeah.
with attitude, nothing ever got done.
That's right. And,
Just saying.
but just because I had that conversation, you
I-
adjusted.
I was willing to take the correction.
That's right.
And that's the thing is that, until you are willing to be corrected and take it to heart and examine to see if it's true or not,
Yeah.
then, you'll always have attitude.
So communicate, have good attitude, have gratitude,
Oh,
and love each other and talk
absolutely.
to each other.
It makes marriage a whole lot more fun.
Absolutely. And grow together. And then you'll move to where you understand each other.
Ooh, men understanding women. That's
Come
a good
on.
thing.
It's possible. I'll get there one day. Hey, have a great day. It's awesome. If you want to know anything else about what we're doing, check out foreverfree.org. Really, the Forever Free life, it's the best life ever. See you soon.
Have you had a breakthrough in your marriage that you would like to share? Visit themarriageshow.com and learn how you can submit your own Marriage Matter video to us. And now, back to the show.
So we were talking about being first in each other's lives in marriage. And so the last segment, we're talking about regret, things that you don't want to regret in life as you get older, because there'll be plenty of opportunities. You also mentioned something about when you get your, on the phone, when pictures come up from memories.
Those reminders. Hey, this is you 5 years ago. First of all, you look younger and better. And
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
know,
wow,
and
thanks
honestly,
for that.
you are looking at going, wait, I look so young and it was only 2019.
What was I complaining about?
What happened? But anyway, those memories, think about it. If memories are coming up and your wife, and let's say you've been married for 10 years, but memories are coming up in the last 10 years and your wife or your children are not on those photos, there's a problem. And actually someone that we counseled once said, I knew there was a problem when my memories came up and my kids and my wife were not in it. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy. So I just want to read from mydictionary.com what regret means. It says it's a feeling of sadness, repentant, disappointed over something that has happened or something that has been done, especially a loss or a missed opportunity.
You lost or missed
Yes,
opportunity.
That
Wow.
is a missed opportunity to spend time with your spouse can really be, and your family can really put you in regret. So we want to do whatever we can to have that not happen. And I know, like I said, we are we're the older helicopter, the helicopter view looking at these things.
We've been
and
around for a while. she's
Okay,
trying
we've
to
been
say.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I believe this is really good advice for young couples and even middle-aged couples, right? Just couples in general, that they will take every opportunity they can to be with their wife and their children and not also have a million other things on their mind. It's like, how you're presently there, but your mind is somewhere else.
Like I was saying earlier, we talked about spending time with if you're a guy, with the boys, or if you're the girl, spending time with the girlfriends and all that sort of thing. No one's saying you can't spend time with your friends. We're not saying that at all. But we are saying that when those times come around, you need to prioritize who you're spending time with. If every weekend you spend time with the boys and never see the family, that might be an issue you need to address. Same goes for the wife. It says here, if you're intentional about spending time with each other, it's a very godly thing. Ephesians 5:21 says, "Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ." And the word submit here doesn't mean slave. Like, oh, I'm submitting, I'm a slave. That's not what it means. Submitting means respecting, means honoring. So let's change that. Honor one another out of reverence for Christ. Are you honoring your spouse with your behavior right now? Are you honoring your husband? You honoring your wife with your behavior? Is what you're doing, if it were to come out what you were doing all weekend, would it honor your spouse? And vice versa with with the other spouse. You guys need to honor each other no matter what you're doing. And you might be saying, but Butch, it's really hard to do. I've always done this. Well, that's what Jesus is all about. He's about pouring that new wine into that new wineskin, taking out the old wine, right? He was talking about, when he mentioned that in the Bible, he's talking about putting a new way of thinking into the old ways of doing things. When Jesus showed up on the scene, he came into a society where a lot of old traditions had been just permeating the culture for so long. People always did this. They were very legalistic with their approach to God. God was very scary and very punishing, and that's what people thought about God. And Jesus says, no, 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 no. My Father's a loving Father. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Love your enemies. Talking about that. Whereas the old way of doing things was we need to punish our enemies, eye for an eye, all that type of thing. Jesus says, forgive them up to 70 times 7. And so when there's a new way of doing things, for Jesus, we got to at least look to that and think, is there a new way I can do things in my marriage? If your marriage isn't working, look at why it's not working. You guys spending every waking moment together and trying to figure things out? Or have you separated and gone like this and aren't even talking to each other? There's nothing sadder to me when I see a couple sit down at a restaurant and they don't talk.
No, they're on their phones.
Well, no, so I've even seen them. They have their phones sitting on the table, and they're still not talking. They'll just sit and they'll just stare off into space. Yeah, we go out to dinner, but it's sad to me to see, like, they have nothing to talk about. It's really weird.
Well, no, that really is sad when you're seeing couples sitting together, they're on a date or just out and, married and on a date, and they're both on their phones. And you're like, boy, you've kind of missed the whole point. I wanted to read Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. And so it's whatever you sow into your marriage, you're going to get back. So if you're sowing absence, you're going to get absence back. And so, but if you are sowing an abundance of love and just in time with your wife and your children
and attention
and all that, you're going to get that back to you. A lot of times we complain and say, well, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, but in all reality, you're not doing it either. And so when you're not doing it, like the spouse isn't doing it, you're not getting back because you're not sowing that into your own life, into your own child or into your own
what's really
wife.
great, what she does for me all the time, and she's so great at this. She'll throw great surprise parties for me for my birthday and stuff like that. And it's always been.
I always get him every time. Sometimes I don't know how
I don't
know that it's coming. It's very interesting.
Well, now she's announcing it, so now I'll be expecting it now.
No, not now. I'm not doing one now.
Well,
but in
why
the
not?
past.
What do I do now? You're not throwing one out? No, but I mean, she'll throw these great parties for me, and it's just so cool. It's so special because the time that's put in, the thought that's put in, and the fact that all these people have been gathered. It's just a really fun thing to know that, oh, my wife thought of me this much to throw this party for me. It's really, really special. And in return, I do nice things for you as well.
Absolutely.
And I don't here's why I won't throw parties for her though, because I got to call all the same people she already knows. And I've got to clear things with her. Like if I'm going to spend any money, she's going to see it come out and she's going to know what it's for. I can't even surprise her for that.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, so I can't surprise you at all, but I'll just go, hey, is it okay if I throw you a party for your birthday? Can we call these people? And then she'll take over anyway. So, at least the thought was there. But the cool thing is, it's those little gestures that you can show somebody that you're thinking about them. Sometimes not even the cost of the gift, it's the thought of the gift.
Absolutely. And you know what? When he does go to the mall, let's say he's just going by himself to get something and he brings me something back, that really means a lot. Not even the actual thing that he brings, but the fact that he was at the mall and he looked for it. He wasn't just going to get it done, whatever he had to get done. he actually thought about, he walked by something and said, oh wait, I think Julieann would really like that.
Julieann would like an Xbox with 2 controllers and all my favorite games. She would really like that. Julieann would love a brand new Tesla with my name on it. You would really love that. Yeah.
No. But it's just really, that is nice. It's a very nice gesture. And so those are the things that we want to do. But again, we get busy. We're thinking about our own thing. We're running through the mall to get something, because most men don't like just going to the mall by themselves. So they're definitely on a mission.
We're in the mall for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Men
But what's
in, out. That's what it is.
But what's nice is when they take the time and they do something like that. And then also too, it's like when we have like, let's say we're in bike clubs, or we're in clubs that don't include our spouse, meaning that we're going to go on mountain bike riding for, 3-4 hours, and the spouse is not involved in that. Well, again, like I said, even with whether it's golfing or working out, but if you're going to take that time away from your spouse, it really does affect them. It kind of hurts their feelings.
Well, now it forces the spouse that's been left behind to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they'll be doing it with resentment and hurt in their heart. It says here in Ephesians 4:2, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love. Can you deal with your spouse in a loving way, or is your every waking thought trying to avoid your spouse? We counsel a great many people. Over the years, we've heard so many stories, and we even experience this ourselves sometimes. Just the last thing I want to do is spend time with you right now. I want to go do something else on my own. And that's the last thing, you say, the last thing you think about. And it's really sad, because those types of behaviors and those types of thoughts really can lead to destruction in a marriage. And that's going to affect not just you two, but your kids and any family legacy coming after that situation.
And also too, having to be right in a discussion, that makes you feel really like alone and defeated, because they're trying to be right, and at whatever cost that is. As a matter of fact, we had a situation. We were only married at just a couple years, and there was a massive earthquake in 1994 in California, and it was very significant for us, because the night before it happened, we got into a really dumb argument. Like, we don't even remember what the argument was. It was so dumb.
It was super important.
He was at his office, so whatever the argument was.
I was working on the weekend. It was a Sunday, and I was working. Should have been in church, but
we didn't even know Jesus yet. But
we didn't.
But he was working, and I was probably angry because he was working. And so we got in this argument, and he was like, "Fine, then I'm not going to come home." I'm like, "Fine, then don't come home." Click, and we just hung up the phone. Well,
and so I didn't come home.
Home. Well, guess what happened? The next morning.
4 a.m. It was
on Martin Luther King Day.
Night of the Northridge earthquake, the biggest earthquake in California history. And I wake up in this motel room, pitch black. The whole room is shaking, and I don't know where I am. And then the odd thing about it was that the earthquake, I went into the bathroom because the lights wouldn't work. All the power was out. And I go to the bathroom, turn the light on, and there was water all over the floor because the toilet water had sloshed out. That's how violent the earthquake was.
I know.
The toilet water.
And then I was home. We were living in Hollywood in this high rise, and we just were renting a condo at the time, and everything was mirrored. So
walls, floor-ceiling mirrors all over the place.
Ceiling everywhere. So in an earthquake, obviously that's not a very safe thing. And I had this little Yorkshire Terrier named Bagels. And so he was dark and I couldn't see him. We had no light. And so I'm freaking out. Phones don't work, like nothing works. And I'm like, where is Butch? Right? Mm-hmm. And so
we didn't have cell phones at the time either.
No, there was one saving grace about it is that my mom was living in a different location, and she literally, everything was falling, and she was holding up her TV that was on her dresser for hours, because by the time Butch came back to the house to get me, it was like the fight was, we had to like set that aside, because I'm like, I need to get to my mom. I think, I just feel like something's wrong. So we get all the way to Glendale, and we find my mom has been holding this TV up for several hours trying to hold it. But it took us because everybody that their houses got damaged, we all moved into my mom's house, and we all just literally slept on the living room floor. But it was about 2 weeks later that we said, okay, we got to address what happened. That can never happen again, about the fight. And so,
so basically we caused the Northridge earthquake.
I think,
from our fight.
it was our wake-up call. Sorry, everybody else.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, as far as keeping things, keeping your spouse first in your life, it really, really is an important thing. It's an important act that you have to undertake. It's an endeavor and it's an intentional thing that has to be decided upon because no one can decide it but you. Nobody can decide it but you.
Well, think about
They
it.
might want to be first in your life, but unless you make them first in your life, it's not going to happen.
Well, also the argument, whatever that was, that became first in our life, and could have been extremely destructive.
And had that earthquake not happened, I would have woken up the next day in this place, and I probably would have still been mad. It would have
Yeah.
been, it's these dumb things you go through, and the dumb prideful arguments that you have because you have to be right, and how dare anyone talk to you that way. You got to stop that. But speaking of stopping, we've got to stop now because our time has run out. All right, so thanks so much for watching The Marriage Show. And as we always say on The Marriage Show, marriage is a journey.
And we're on it with you.
We'll see you later.
Thank you for watching The Marriage Show with Butch and Julieann Hartman. We hope today's lesson inspired you to believe God for greater abundance in every area of your lives. If you'd like to connect with Butch and Julieann and follow their ministry and entertainment endeavors, visit themarriageshow.com today.